Hello, guys. We really got to catch up on what's been going on and how my life has changed and how it's changing how I do my blogging now. But hey, Demita, Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. So, you guys know I've been really active on my podcast, and I actually got to do a podcast with Chaddah from Big Brother, and I want you guys to hear it because not everybody has Twitter, not everybody has Apple, Spotify. I know for a fact everybody doesn't have that. So, with that being said, let me know if you guys can hear this. Thing on. First of all, happy holidays. Yes, it's that time of year. It is time for another little ad for going to 2020 what? 3. Now, if you haven't heard of Anchor or Spotify, it is an easy way for you to make a podcast to get started. Everything you need is one spot, baby. Let me tell you how it goes. Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit all your stuff on your phone, on the go, on the computer, at home. Cuddle up because it's cold, baby. You host is an Anchor. You can stream your podcast on different platforms like Spotify, Apple. Now, mine is also on iHeartRadio. Hello. And it's also on Amazon Music. It's super cool. So it's everything you need to make a podcast in one spot. Best of all, especially with this time that we are in, it is for free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.com and you get started. Hey. Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Commish Reviews. I love to my podcast, y'all. Reality TV conversations. We have the pleasure of having Hannah, the queen, is in the building. I'm so excited for you guys to have another opportunity to hear us have another candid conversation with a reality TV queen, such as she is. I enjoyed talking to her. She was everything. She was very transparent. She was so chill. I can see why her and Tiffany and all of them get along because she's just cool like that. I love that about her. Didn't really This is my first time actually getting to talk to her, and I just really enjoyed talking to her. So I'm giving you guys a quick preview. Enjoy Not preview. My God. You guys enjoy this conversation. Make sure you guys download if you have not already. We guys are on now on Apple, we're on Spotify, and now we're on oh my God, I can't talk. Amazon Music. We're also on iHeartRadio. You guys need to check me out. Download my podcast. All right, guys. I'm also on YouTube and Twitter and Twitch. All right, let's get started. Merry Christmas, guys. Happy holidays. We're going to New Year. Banging. Oh, yeah, I'm going to New Year. And I'm going. There's no plus one. It's just me. Boom. Hey, Mom, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Kamisha. How are you?
I am fine. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How's it going?
Girl, I am about to. After this, I'm going to work.
Oh, really? At what time?
I would right after we get done. I'm going to get dressed and head to work. I got it enough time where I can get up, get my breakfast. I got up a little bit early. It's fine. You're worth it.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for making this time for me.
You as well. First of all, thank you for coming on my podcast. This is Quiz Reviews, reality TV conversations, what I call it. My series or whatever I've been doing, from Big Brother to Challenge, whatever, because you guys are on reality TV, and I cover reality TV for years. I cover Big Brother, everybody knows that. I cover a challenge, whatever. But I love having these conversations with you guys because I feel like that, you guys go on TV and they just see, that's all they see. And it's sort of guys in that. I always feel like that. So they know it's for reality TV stars or whatever because of the fact that they look at y'all and went away. So I like to have this open forum where you guys can come and speak and everything. I get in trouble for it sometimes, but it's okay.
Wait, what did you say?
I get in trouble for sometimes. I got in trouble for it for a challenge. I have a space on Twitter where a lot of the cast from the show would come on there and spill tea or whatever. A lot of fans got
did that because I just started something new where I said, hey, let them have a voice to come speak out about this episode that came on. We watched the episode on TV, but we don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And so they came on my space this season and spoke out and all this stuff. A lot of fans got mad about it, but I don't care.
Really? I mean, if anything, isn't that what they want?
You know what it was? They was upset because they wanted the reunion to be juicy and they felt like they spilled a lot of tea on my.
Oh.
I was like, wow, didn't know that was a thing, but okay. I learned
I mean,
something.
since when have fans really been pressed about spoilers?
Girl, I don't know. It was weird.
Oh.
Look, let me tell you something, Hannah. This season of Big Brother, you should be on my spaces with me and Sheena and everybody else. We started spaces this season for Big Brother. It's like Black Twitter just got a hold of my channel, and I just was like, it went crazy over the summer. And I was like, Hannah should have been on. He was dragging like we were.
Wait, what did she say?
You should have been on there with us.
Oh.
We were dragging, and when Taylor was in the house, I said she should have been on the space with us because she'd do the same thing we were doing.
Right. I am so technologically challenged. I still don't know what a Twitter space is or how to get on one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I definitely need help. But
Got you.
I'm trying.
I got you. I was the same way. Trust me. When I first got on space, I was like, "What is this?" It took me a little to figure it out. So it wasn't just I didn't know. I was just on YouTube or whatever. And my friend was like, Sheena was like, "Get on the spaces because I did space on Celebrity Big Brother and they went crazy." And I was like, I guess I'll do them. I did the whole summer, and it was mostly we advocated for Taylor a whole lot, and we got dragged through the mud because we did it. And we still do, but it's whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So now for you. You were on the Big Brother thing, and we all love you for being on Big Brother, being a person of color, and doing the thing that you did on there. That was like amazing. And I know you still hear about it to this day. How does that make you feel that you still hear about it to this day? Like, I'm not sure you have to forget about it. People still like, yes, she was in there, she was doing her thing, period.
Yeah, no, that's a good question because I think any super fan of Big Brother, yes, they want to win, but more importantly, I think they want the full Big Brother experience, and they want to be able to leave a legacy on the game. And not everyone gets to do that. Even if you win, you don't necessarily leave a legacy on the game of Big Brother. But with the cookout and my involvement in that, we sort of ushered in a new era, and all of us sacrificed our game so that future Black players and future players of color would never feel like they had to. So for me to leave my mark on, or for me to be able to leave my mark on the game at such a young age is something that I value so much. It's not something that I necessarily anticipated for myself, but we were really able to make history. We were able to change the course and the trajectory of Big Brother.
This daggone podcast. I have this. My podcast beat. Ugh.
This is literally becoming a thing.
It's all good though.
My podcast, because they're on. She probably getting like an alert or something.
Like if you're on your phone, like if you go, if you get a call or something, it messes
the link
up.
Whenever.
But she was smart. She was able to pop right back in. But we got interrupted like 3 times.
If you're on the app and you get out of it,
she's gonna come right back.
Calls you, or you get text message. I think it throws off the whole entire thing. Dang, she was getting to it good too.
She was. She really was too. Oh, thank you, Baba. I got my podcast is doing really well. She's gonna come back.
Let me see what is.
I'm just playing it live here because everybody doesn't have Apple. Everybody doesn't have Spotify. Everybody doesn't have.
Okay.
Hey, Kamisha.
Yeah, I'm back. I'm still here waiting for you. I said I don't know what happened. Did you get an alert or something? There's somebody you get a message or something.
I keep it raw. I keep it real. I can edit all this stuff out, but I keep it just like I'm just too transparent for that.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you clear as a bell.
Okay, perfect. Do you just want me to answer that last question?
Yes,
one more time.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to remember what I said. Okay, so as a super fan, I think even more so than wanting to win the game, we just want the full Big Brother experience, and we want the opportunity to leave a mark on the game. And the cookout was absolutely able to accomplish that by getting all 6 of us to the end fully intact for the first time ever, and B, solidifying a Black winner after 23 seasons of this show, or solidifying the first Black winner, I should say, after 23 seasons of this mainstream reality television show.
100%.
All of us sacrificed our games so that future players of
Oh, I
color,
saw that pillow
especially
talk.
future
Thank
Black
you,
players, would
Boo.
never feel like they had to. Instead, they could come into the house, they could play in the way that they wanted to play. Now, we sort of saw that with Taylor, but Taylor's journey was very unique and challenging, and she was able to defy all odds. And I'm not attributing that to the cookout. I'm attributing that to how savvy and sociable she is.
Oh,
But
interesting.
that was our idea. That was the premise behind the cookout, and we were absolutely able to leave a legacy on the game, and that's all I ever wanted. That's something that I didn't necessarily anticipate, but I'm very proud of. So yeah, it's really nice to hear that people still talk about the cookout. I mean, listen, the cookout was a major part of BB Can's storyline this year, the Challenge USA storyline,
Yes.
BB24 storyline. Like, I just don't think will ever be forgotten. So that's
No.
cool.
Ever, okay? So speaking of Taylor, I know you were very vocal about Taylor, as many of us were very vocal about Taylor and her experience. I love how you put that her experience was very unique, and it was. Something very unique. She got dragged by her game, even though she won, which I think is really weird and odd. Why do you think that the way she played the game was looked at such a negative way? Everything she did, from down to Monty to whatever she did, it was just negative. And she overcame so much.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it is because she is a woman, and typically when we discuss the winners of this game, I mean, with the exception of June, there's typically a lot of, and that was so long ago, but with the exception of June, there's typically an abundance of controversy surrounding the woman who won this game. A lot of people like to discredit Maggie, Lisa, who else? Nicole Franzel, Rachel Riley, Jordan, Casey, and now Taylor. So that's something that I don't think is new. But especially with her being a Black woman, that adds another layer, another element to the story, a dark-skinned Black woman at that. So she's going to most likely be subjected to more vitriol than others, because that's just how society operates, and Big Brother is a reflection of that. But I think in the way that she played, she had to completely rely on her social game. She didn't play and she will tell you this, it's not like she won a ton of challenges, and it's not like she played a game that was heavily reliant on strategy. So I guess depending on what you look for in a BB player, if you value strategy more, if you value comps more, then you may not feel like she's as deserving of the win. But the beautiful thing about Big Brother, and I think why it's lasted as long as it has, is because there are multiple routes to get to the end, and not a single, or not no two winners have had the exact same journey, and all of those should be respected, because the jury still crowned them to be the winner, so they must have been doing something right in the jury's eyes, you know. So I think that's the biggest thing. And also the special thing about her is she really did have to play a game of survival and self-preservation. Other people, other winners at least, have found themselves in a relatively okay position walking into the house. Therefore, they have the social currency and the capital to, I guess, use their agency to make moves and advance themselves further. Whereas Taylor did not have that social currency or capital for the first however many weeks. Therefore, she didn't have much agency. She was just kind of hanging on by a thread. So that is the thing that's particular to her, because somehow she was able to hang on to that thread all the way to finale night, and then deliver one of the best Big Brother speeches or reality TV speeches that I think we've ever seen.
Now, if you notice, well, I'm gonna ask you this: the last two seasons, your season, and then obviously this season, it seems like the show lasted like longer than the actual, like after the after show, like from y'all projects, and now from Taylor, and all these interviews that are happening, crazy or whatever, negative and all this kind of stuff. Not to want to get really into it because I don't really like them, but anyway, I don't like how they are. It's a struggle for me because I interviewed Taylor. I was one of the first 2 weeks or whatever I interviewed, and I felt it was everything, and I respected her and loved the fact that she gave me the opportunity. So I will always look out for her 100%. And the way it's she's being really classy now, to be honest, and it just seems like it's a lot of negative interviews, a lot of things talking about her. Like, why are they still talking about? Not saying the show, because I mean, I know she was over it. It goes on. It's an after show. We all know that. Why do you think these last two? People are still talking about it, negative and positive. I'll say that because yours did the same thing in your season, and now they're doing it to her season. Mostly about her, honestly, which is bad.
Yeah. By the two people, do you mean the two people from her cast, or
I didn't even want to say their names, but yeah, there's people from her cast are even thinking about her recently. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm not sure what month is it. It's like, we're gonna be going to the next summer of Big Brother the way it's going because we're still talking about it, and we're still talking about the cookout. I mean, it's another year we're still talking about the cookout as well. So what do you think, like, was prevalent with these two seasons where we're still talking about, not staying on talking about the other seasons we did, but it's just a little more deeper. It is with the cookout season and this season that we're still discussing it. We're still doing lives about it. We're still doing interviews and all this. It wasn't like that before. It wasn't.
Absolutely. Okay, so I think on one hand, the rise in the popularity of social media and BB Twitter probably helps keep the season alive even months after the fact. Like you said, I'm still doing interviews about Big Brother, and I haven't been on TV for a year and 3 months or something like that. So I think that's part of it, but I also think that anytime someone is vocal or advocates for social justice issues or specifically racial issues, that tends to make people uncomfortable. And when you're uncomfortable, then you become fearful, and that fear can turn into hatred. So I think for Taylor to be so outspoken, for the cookout to be so outspoken, that probably does rile up some feathers, and that's what breeds the beration from other people or the confusion from other people. And then it certainly doesn't help that some of her castmates are just awful, particularly two of them. And they can't seem to have the wherewithal or the humility to just apologize and own up to what they did and said over the summer. Instead, they probably just want their 15 minutes of fame. They probably want to mooch off of Taylor in whatever way, shape, or form that they can. And then in terms of the cookout, like I said, even though the cookout has not been an official alliance since September 29th of 2021, we still have been a major part of the storyline in BB Can 10, which, let's see, aired from like March to May, and The Challenge USA, which aired from July to September, and then Big Brother that concurrently aired from July to September. So that's probably why people are still talking about it, because it's still a pretty important part of these shows and how we look at them and digest them and how we understand them.
Do you think the reaction that we got, well, the way Kyle reacted, which was really horrible, do you think it's going to be a thing? And the reason why I say that is because it surprised me when it was said. Like, it threw me off. I was like, wait, what? So I remember watching it to this day, how I felt about it. I was just like, I don't understand, like why, I didn't get it. So I remember I thought about it later on. I was like, is this going to be a thing where every season they're gonna talk about the cookout saying, well, I don't want this to happen. Like, why is that a bad thing? That's the part
Right.
I still don't understand. Y'all did a positive thing.
I see y'all on Instagram. What's up? What's up?
It was a one winner. I still don't understand why it's looked at as a negative thing. Like, oh my God, if somebody person of color's in the house, it's gonna be the cookout. So is that gonna be a thing, you think?
we were prepared for that possibility. We definitely felt like people may be fearful walking into the house the next season. Now, we didn't think they would be fearful. Okay. In life, anytime people see a group of Black people, I think they instinctively may be threatened or frightened. So we were like, that even before the cookout, I think other house guests would just assume that the Black ones were working together. However, there were never enough of them to be able to do anything substantial or really shake up the game. So it wasn't, it wasn't that daunting or threatening before. But with the cookout, we had the numbers to guarantee a Black winner for the first time in history by working together. So we were like, okay, this is probably going to elevate people's paranoia about the Black house guests, about the house guests of color. But we just hoped that in explaining our mission, people understood why we felt like we had to do what we did. It was a direct response to the ostracism, the racism, the bullying, and the traumatic experience that the Black house guests before us had been subjected to for 22 seasons. It was a reactionary mission. It's not something that we woke up with magically on July 7th and said, we're bored today, let's form this alliance. No, not at all. It was also for the community too, because we wanted to be able to show that people who look like us are absolutely capable of winning and thriving and succeeding, because typically we're not shown in positions of power or positions where we have the agency to make, heavy decisions or make it to the end of these reality TV shows or these competitive game shows. So that's really what we wanted to accomplish. And we just hoped that people would realize our mission was one of unity, and it wasn't a matter of just kicking out the White House guests or kicking out the other house guests. That's not what we wanted to do, and I don't feel like that's what we did. And I think there's a reason why, with the cookout being the dominant alliance of last season, you can't really recount a time where any of the house guests outside of the cookout were ever shamed or bullied by us or chased out of the house or had a horrible experience, because we still wanted to make it as pleasant as possible for everyone else. Whereas in season 22, that was not the case when the roles were reversed. Season 21, season 20, 19. And so,
Okay, for everybody who's watching, first of all, welcome everybody to Kamisha Reviews. This is a live that I did recording, I'm sorry, on my podcast, which is actually now on Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, and more. But for those who are watching on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, this is a podcast I'm playing for you guys because I did an interview and I want you guys to go check out my Apple Podcast, download it, support, and check out the great content I have on there. And I just want you to see this interview I did this morning. I'm not see it, I'm sorry. Hear it. So enjoy.
so we were like, we just hope that America is smart enough to empathize with us instead of jumping to their own conclusions. But I guess we were sadly mistaken, because again, we saw paranoia about a Cookout 2.0 forming in BB Can and the Challenge USA in BB 25. So hopefully by next season, people are like, well, they did what they did to solidify the first Black winner of the show. Well, now that two Black winners of the show have been crowned, there's no need for a Cookout 2.0.
Right.
Like, I hope they get it, but they might not. I don't know.
I just really hope that it doesn't change people of color from, trying to get on the show. Is what I heard about it, honestly, because after the cookout, a lot of Black podcasters, I know for a fact, started reviewing the show. And not only that, people of color who were fans wanted to get on the show because of you guys. So I hope that doesn't change after Taylor and the reaction to 2.0 from a different season for Canada to challenge everything. I hope that does not this here, because I apply all the time. Man. I'm a blogger. They all know me. I doubt I would ever get on there, but I always apply every year just because I said they'll get a blog on there. It's gonna be the most epic season ever. But I just don't want to just hear other people of color who want to get on the show. That's one thing I don't want to happen because I feel like you guys opened that door. It's like, look, y'all, come on, come
Yeah.
on.
Exactly. Like if we could do it, then you guys can do it too. We wanted to empower people who look like us, and more widely speaking, people of color in general. And I know like the cookout was a major part of the reason why Joseph applied. The cookout was a huge part of the reason why Taylor applied. So that's just an honor in and of itself. And I hope that can continue to be carried and people look at contestants like Taylor and Joseph and think the same thing about them as Taylor and Joseph, thought about us last year. And I thought about Davon and Bailey the year before.
Because 22 was a season that really, for a lot of people, I really was going to stop doing Big Brother because of that season. Because I'm angry about the season. I've been doing Big Brother, covering it for like over 10 years, and I was going to stop because of that season. I was so angry, and a lot of people were.
Yeah.
That were of color. Different. It doesn't mean blacks of color. Stop watching the antics and everything that was done in that season. So, was that a big thing for you that kind of made you like, we got to do something? When once y'all made the decision, was that a reason why? Because the way that season went previously, it was awful.
Yes. I'm not going to speak for the other 5 members of the cookout, but for me, when I saw Davon and Bailey be able to work together and establish such a strong sisterhood in that house, in the face of horrible castmates, with the exception of a few like Enzo and Janelle and Pacer, but the Committee Alliance, I was not the biggest fan of them at all, especially Christmas. But I almost felt like I believe I've been called to finish what they started. Like, I think it's my duty to take this, to react to this, and do something about it. And like I said, I'm not going to speak for the other 5, but I think they had very similar experiences watching Davon and Bailey as well. So I, at least, will give a good, 75% of the cookout's creation, or I will give 75% of the credit behind the cookout's creation to Davon and Bailey.
I want to talk about your podcast because your podcast is bomb. Like I remember we talked about. I was like, her podcast is everything. I said I've got to be a guest on that one of these days, so I can just cut up with him.
Yeah.
What made you get into that? Because I love it when people from the reality TVs find these outlets and they're doing. Because people get mad about it. But I love when you guys do this, get your podcast and everything. I love to hear your voice, your different opinions, because it's everything because you was a part of it, and your podcast blew up a lot this season. So how did that come to be?
Sure. So it is Jason and Rachel's podcast called The Secret Alliance. And let's see, I did an interview with them back in February when Celebrity Big Brother was airing, because they wanted to get my thoughts on that since I'm close to one of the contestants who did CBB. And then fast forward to the beginning of this summer when Taylor just had a horrific first week. Rachel and Jason, since we've stayed in contact, were like, Hannah, do you want to come on and help us dissect this? Because we don't feel like we necessarily have the artillery and the arsenal to talk about these issues. And I was like, sure, because I would be able to, I would love to be able to voice my thoughts as someone who has been in the house before as a Black woman, as someone who is a member of the cookout. And people responded very, very well to that and the chemistry that the 3 of us have, because I think the 3 of us balance each other out so well, and we're all different ages and from different eras of the show. And Jason made final 3, and he was half of the first Secret Alliance, and Rachel's a winner and a 2-time player, and I was a member of his historic iconic alliance. So all of us are kind of memorable in our own ways, and we felt like it was an eclectic bunch of podcasters, but we just complemented each other so well. And I think, like I said, the audience responded well to that, so we just kept covering the show, and CBS granted us press access to do exit interviews. And I think that's where the alliance really just took off. Or, sorry, that's where the podcast really took off. Like, especially with Nicole's exit interview going into Daniel's, people just ate it up.
They did. And speaking of exit interviews, I'm going to bring this to your attention. It's funny you say that. So one of the biggest things about Big Brother, and one of the biggest things that Taylor and I spoke about, and a lot of people did, is that exit interviews. For instance, I'll give you an example. When the cookout wrapped up and everything, and I've interviewed Tiffany and Derek and Kylan since then, we talked about this. I was extremely upset as a blogger. Everybody knows this is not even like a hidden thing or anything. I'm very vocal that I felt like the CBS was not granting people of color exit interview opportunities. And this is not like nothing is a lie. This is all a true statement. And I went to Derek and Tiffany about it because I was really upset. So they came to my channel. We spoke about it, and it opened a lot of. I feel like that when we did that, it opened a lot of doors because when Taylor came out the house, she was like, "I'm interviewing with people of color."
Mm-hmm.
Said that. But what I'm saying is, normally on a normal basis, when their Big Brother is over, we do not get those opportunities, which is really horrible. And I don't think you guys know about it because, like for me, I've been in the blogging business forever, and so I'm very vocal about it because I don't think you guys knew that in our it's a black people coming out of this house. Why are we not getting the opportunities to interview first, or not only? I don't want to say first to get the opportunity to interview. I'll say that. And we weren't getting that chance until this season. I'm just being straight up and transparent with you. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I didn't necessarily know because I wasn't on social media before I came out of the Big Brother house. So what people did before me in terms of their postseason journey and experience, I had absolutely no clue. I had absolutely no clue about. But that doesn't surprise me because I think in life, people of color have to work twice or three times as hard to be given or to earn the same opportunities as their white counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, with Taylor coming on your podcast, with even more because we really
it starts messing up like right here. I'm so frustrated. I was like, why? When I'm just getting to the meat and potatoes of it all.
These postseason interviews that'll continue to open doors for future house guests of color and future Black house guests to be welcomed with, an enormous, I guess, like collection of options for press after the show.
But CBS needs to also, and this is no shade to CBS, needs to also reach out to us as well. You have to understand, some of us have been covering it for over 10 years, and CBS never looks our way. I mean, I don't even know if they know. I mean, even though I'm very vocal, I'm a small, podcaster. I mean, I'm not small. My number's not as big as I'm big, but my numbers are smaller than a lot of people. So I don't know if they even see us, which is how the world is.
Period.
Unfortunately.
Period.
So I try to make myself loud and be known.
Yeah.
I keep pushing. I have a lot of people in my corner. You are my corner now, Miss Anna. So I have Tiffany. I have most of the cookout that supported me as a podcaster and many other Black podcasters. So I love the support. I just want to see it where other podcasters come behind me who will want to recover Big Brother will understand they have the opportunities as well. That's my biggest thing. So I want to pass
Period.
I don't know what happened. Look, this is podcast so special. It's gonna be two of them. Okay, period. Okay.
You said what?
The struggle.
Other podcasters coming behind me. I want them to be able to have the opportunities that I have had. I do think for other people, people of color, all people of color, honestly, who hit me up my DM and tell me that they actually told me that they admired the interview, that they saw the interview, and that they followed my journey and was proud that I was able to get that. I've got a lot of DMs about that for the whole summer. So I want other of color to understand that they're able to get these opportunities as well, and I want CBS to see them too. That's my biggest. I'm a big advocate of Black podcasters being seen.
Yeah.
And that's really important to me. And I know you guys don't know about it because Tiffany didn't know about it, and neither did Derek. And I was like, I know they didn't. They don't tell you guys this stuff. When they go to press, they choose the interviews you guys get, and they don't choose us. They choose Aaron and different other people, but they don't choose us. Just being honest.
Yeah.
I've realized this now. It's not y'all's fault. So
Yeah.
speak out about it.
Yeah, and I mean, hopefully, like your interview with Taylor, your interview with Tiffany and Big D, and now myself can just help grow your channel and really increase your exposure. Because of course, I'm gonna retweet, and Taylor probably retweeted and commented, which subjects all of her fans to your channel, and now they can check you out. So hopefully, it's like a chain reaction, if you will. And then by your podcast getting bigger and blowing up, then you can in turn open the door for other Black podcasters. And I'd like to give a shout out to Isaiah, because Isaiah, I just did his podcast last night. So he's another person who I see that's very active in the BB community and very active on BB Twitter. And he just started out his show, I believe, last year or like a year and a half ago. And that's been doing well from what I understand. And he just had Taylor on as well. And he had Azza on a couple months ago. So shout out to him. There's you, of course. There is...
yeah, I know Isaiah. Yes.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I've definitely done other people's podcasts, but it's early in the morning.
No, I get it. No, Isaiah. We were on the fence, the two of us, and a few others when Taylor was going on. We were going back and forth with Twitter, so we know each other very well. I love Isaiah. So I will say that. So honor for you. Okay, it's gonna be off. It's gonna be off together on the podcast. But I want to say, your TikTok is everything. Now, I messaged you and I said I have to do one TikTok with you, even if I embarrass myself.
Oh my gosh. Are you thinking like a dance TikTok?
Yes. I don't know how. Not your dance sounded like look, girl, I'm not gonna sit there and make myself look crazy. I said, but
Lord Jesus, I'm about to be embarrassing myself. Y'all finna really clown me.
The other day, I was like, oh my God, I just want to do one with her. And even if I acted a fool with it, I still want her just to say, hey, this podcast tried to do it.
Well, please recreate it and tag me in it. So
I will. I'm working on it now. It's taking me this long. So
and listen, you can't be worse than Kylan. So
I see colors. I don't know.
He's so bad at dancing. Oh my Lord. I've never seen anything like it.
He's like, look, I'm trying.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to try harder. I don't know what to tell him.
Jesus. Okay. So thank you again, Queen, for coming on my podcast. I'm telling you, I'm working on my sister's helping with my TikTok, because she's gonna be home with me tomorrow for Christmas Eve, and we're gonna finish it, and then I'm gonna tag you in it once I do it. Lord Jesus,
yes, please do. I can't wait to see it. Like I said, you can't be bad than maybe like 2/3 of the BB23 cast. So I have faith in you. Like, did you see that one TikTok that Azza just posted from her birthday when all of us were doing that like Drake dance or something? It was on the boat.
Yes, I did.
Everyone was so bad except like Brittany and Chanel. So you can't be worse than them. And Wendell was cool too.
So I'm gonna give you a request if possible. Now I'm going to do spaces for next summer for Big Brother. I would love to come on to give your expertise or just your dragon if necessary. We do that as well.
Well, thank you so much for the invitation. Listen, Kamisha, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hoping for a BB second chance this season. I think we may get that. I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but fingers crossed, because if we do, then I would love nothing more in the world to be back in that house. Even if I have to delay med school by another year and defer my acceptance, I would love nothing more than to just be back in that space, playing my favorite game and playing the game for myself this time around. Keep championing my own self-interest versus the interests of this mission that transcended the game, because I had to sacrifice so much last summer, as a lot of people of color and Black people typically do. Like, that's very indicative of our experience in general. But I just want to come back and, like I said, be able to uphold
my own self-interest. I want to be selfish, and I want to play in the game that I want to play the game in the way that I originally intended to. And I feel like last summer you saw me grow so much in that house. Like, I had just turned 21 a couple weeks before walking in. And by the end of the summer, I don't want to say I became a woman, but I was able to learn a lot about myself and other people and how to navigate my personal relationships with others. So you just saw me.
So that was the live podcast. Please go check out more of my podcasts on Apple, Spotify. So I do have something in the works with Love is Blind, and I'm not going to tell any more about it. I will tell you guys about it when it happens here pretty soon. Something I'm working on for a while. And I don't want to say what it is. Also, things that are coming up. Y'all know I'm doing RuPaul's Drag Race for the first time. I'm doing that this season. I'm going to also cover the best man final chapter. I'm doing that as well. I'm going to do a live here in a minute with about the Tory being guilty, but I'm working on something with um I won't say who but that case as well. So I do have some things coming up. I'm working really hard. Understand, I know that I used to post a lot more than I do now because I was overnight and I could do a lot more. But I'm daytime now and I work a night evening shift. So it's gets rough, but my days off are just pretty much dedicated to you guys. So understand that. So this weekend I'm gonna be on my grilling channel. I have more than one channel. I have to take care of my babies. I'm gonna be on my grilling channel Saturday night. I'm gonna try to do some things with my sister with you guys on Christmas Day, and a podcast, special podcast I'm doing with her. So I'm excited about that. I'm gonna record it through the podcast. You gotta follow me on Apple to hear that, and Spotify and Apple Music if you have it, or iHeartRadio. With that being said, that was the interview. I hope you guys do enjoy it. Merry Christmas.